The priest sat down on the stone bench. His hands were smeared with the blood of the last child he'd helped pick up. He stared at the clammy red mess and started to sob. His ears resounded with the cries of mothers deprived of their baby sons. The sounds of their mourning echoed round the halls of the synagogue. Shrieking filled the streets as parents grieved for the loss of their children. The priest couldn't get the sights of the day out of his mind. Herod's soldiers had swept through the streets, banging on doors and bursting into homes. Children, mere babies, and only boys, no girls, were dragged out into the streets and killed in front of their parents' shocked and disbelieving eyes. Boy after boy was put to the sword. Blood had started to collect in the ruts and potholes of the road. So much blood. So much death. The soldiers weren't unfeeling, though. The priest had seen the look in their eyes. He could only begin to imagine what this was costing them as they pierced the innocent skin of so many baby boys. Unable to stand the sight, and with desperate mothers begging him to help, he'd run up to one of them to try and stop the massacre.
"What are you doing? These children have done nothing wrong. Are you mad?"
But the soldier looked at him with grim resignation. "It is the orders of the king. All boys under the age of 2 are to be killed." The priest could only stand aghast at the terrible slaughter going on before him. Hysterical mothers clawing at his arms, looking for some kind of help, some reassurance that what they were seeing was only a dream. But it was not. The blood on the hands of the women was real. He could smell its sticky, iron-rich odor. He could feel it on his arms. The terrible sounds of grief were real enough. Eventually the soldiers were gone, moving on to another neighborhood. So the priest sat in his synagogue, blood on his hands and despair in his heart. And the words of the prophet Jeremiah echoed in his mind. In Ramah a voice was heard, crying and weeping loudly. Rachel was mourning for her children, and she refused to be comforted because they were dead. Many miles away, on the road heading south and west, a man led his family, his wife and young son, to Egypt and to safety.